like to call the Tuesday, January 18th, 2022 Papillion City Council meeting to order. Ms. Barada, would you please take the roll?
Sunday, Mumgard, Gaines, Glover, Jaworski, Klug, Stewie, Ingberg.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And do we have an affidavit of publication on file?
We do.
A current copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the room as you came in. We got a special presentation tonight. Mr. Papillion, want to come up? Trent, want to come up? People don't know Tori's retiring. I think everybody knew it. So I wanted to recognize him. And first, I think I maybe ask Trent to share a few words.
Yeah, very special night for Tori. As we were just talking in our office, our temporary office down the hall, last city council meeting for you on staff, which you might not often see Tori, and that's how it is for some in the community because he's the guy behind the camera, and at city council meetings, he's usually the guy in the back closet recording the city council meetings too. But he's a huge part of our communications when there's very high trust, I think, in the city of Papillion, and a lot of that's because of Tori, because of the connections that Tori has made in the community and the information that he shares with the community about our city government, the services we provide, the people who work for us, the council meetings that we have. That all goes through Tori in video form. He's done a great job. We talked that he's recorded 1,500 city council meetings, 3,000 plus Papillion stories. And like I say, those are on city services. They're also, a lot of them are focused on Papillion nonprofits. So he's done a great job of connecting our community, raising awareness for our city government, things that are going on in our community. He's done a great job. He's been, even though I manage him, he's been a mentor to me and a great friend. And I just want to congratulate him on his retirement. 15 years, but 21 total. He was a Cox employee who started Papillion for us. What year was that?
Before electricity.
No, it's 2000. And Papillion, it's the Cox cable channel for people that don't know, but here in the more recent years, it's been our content that we've shared on social media. So he's been an invaluable resource. He's been an ambassador for the city, and he's been the friendly, welcoming voice that's made Papillion feel like home. So congratulations on your retirement, Tori.
You've all read the National Citizen Survey every year, and the most recent one that just came out, and one of the major things in there is the trust factor that in the 90th percentile of the community that says they trust the city government, and that's way above anything from a national benchmark. And if you dive into a little bit of that, a lot of it does go to the communication that we're proactively sharing information, why we're doing, and then again, a lot of that goes back to Tori. So you made a tremendous difference in this community. Got a couple of things. One is our iron butterfly. Some people might look at this and say, what the heck is that? But it's an iron butterfly, and if you don't remember, these have actually been patented or service marked or trademarked or whatever, protected, and actually a limited number of them were made. If you recognize them, they're actually from the top of the fences at Shram Road, and then they show up on the bridges and some other places. But when the mold was made and cast, there were only a certain number of them that were cast, and so then the unused ones we acquired, so we have them all. So there's a very limited number. And Tony, I don't think they're going to be cast again, are they? Once they're done, they're done. Maybe, but so we consider them pretty special, and we don't get many of them out. And so we just have one that just says Tori Papillion, presented January 18, 2022, for 15 years of dedicated and faithful service to the citizens and staff of the city of Papillion. I want to give you that.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. I've got an official proclamation I'd like to give in appreciation of Tori Pantaleon's 15 years of outstanding service to the city of Papillion. Whereas Tori Pantaleon began his career with the city of Papillion on January 2nd, 2007 as the video producer for Papillion, the city of Papillion's government access channel. It's important to note that that was 6 years after actually being involved with us because of Cox. Whereas Tori announced he will retire on January 28, 2022, celebrating a 15-year career. Whereas during the time, Tori has informed and educated residents and the general public about the city of Papillion, our departments and community through producing an estimated 3,000 plus stories and recording approximately 1,500 city council meetings. Whereas Tori has served as the friendly and welcoming voice of Papillion, narrating city videos and commentating live events such as Papillion Days Parade. Whereas Tori has served as the ambassador for Papillion, establishing strong relationships throughout the local community. Whereas Tori has shown great passion, dedication, and pride in representing the city of Papillion and telling the story of our city government and community. Now, therefore, I, David P. Black, Mayor of the city of Papillion, do hereby present this proclamation to express our sincere appreciation and gratitude to Tori Pantaleon for 15 years of dedicated service. Congratulate you on your retirement and wish you the best in future endeavors. Did you say anything?
Yeah.
All right. Yours.
Well, I think the mayor just made a mistake because he asked me if I wanted to say anything. And those of you who know me as a broadcaster, I can be very verbose. But first thing I'm going to talk about is something I didn't expect. I know the butterflies are not given to just everybody. But when you said Iron Butterfly, I thought of that 60s underground hit, Inagata Davida. I'm sorry, I know I'm really irreverent, but that's just how I am. I need to thank every single one of you. And I know at least 3 of you, and maybe 4, were on the council. I didn't know how things worked in the city, and my job that was created by Dan Hoynes actually had to be okayed by the council. I didn't know that, and when I found out, I thought, wow. It's a good thing nobody knows me down here. But I know at least 3, maybe 4 of you in this room right now had to vote on that, and I thank you for that. I told Trent the other day that even though I didn't move down here, I feel like I am a Papillionite because I have to follow everything that goes on here. Like I tell the kids in that class I teach at UNO, how do you come up with story ideas? How do you know to do whatever? Because you got to pay attention to what's going on. I was fortunate enough to have this job at the forefront of our growth. This is incredible. I wrote a script many years ago, and one of the phrases I used was, Papillion is the shining star of the plains. I believe that today. And I know that some of you I've said that to say, and when I told you, you are a big part of that, the response has been, well, it's the people in Papillion, and that's true. But you're our leadership. You are our elected leadership. And look, we know what the political climate has been in this country for the last 5 years at least. And I see the dynamic working. We don't always agree, but we all have the same goal. And I think that's been lost nationally and at the federal level. But Papillion has been able to keep that. And it's because of all of you. You listen to the people and you try to do their will. If it doesn't win in a vote, well, that's the democratic process. But all of you have encouraged me along the way, because I didn't know what I was doing. I'm a sports guy. My boss at Cox said, you're the guy to do this. So I had to learn to live Papillion and love Papillion. You can't do this job if you don't love it and love the people you work with. I just wish Judy was here to see this. I just wish Judy was here. That helps me segue into, these are my 2 girls, Jody and Stephanie, my son-in-law, Chris, who I promised him if the check would not bounce that I gave him to come here tonight, so it'll be okay. But I've always said Papillion reminds me of my hometown. It's about the same size. People have the same attitude. And I just pray that you continue to move forward as you have been, because it's been great to be part of this. And I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Got about a week left. Ms. Powers, Administrator's Report, please.
Thank you. And Tori, I just want to take a moment to also thank you for all that you've done for the city. You are the voice of Papillion, and that legacy will carry on. I thank you. And I also want to thank you for your friendship and the occasional football talk that we've had. Your big personality and your personable nature will be deeply missed. But enjoy the next chapter. You've earned it. So thank you very much.
Go Patriots.
No, go Pack, go. And then for everybody else, just so you guys are aware, I did want to take a quick minute to introduce Michael Severe. He did accept the position as videographer and the digital specialist. He starts next week, so he'll have a week to train with Tori before Tori retires. Michael has 25 years of experience in news media with a background in TV, radio, and print. And he's worked at KETV, Omaha World Herald, and NRG Media. And he also hosts the Big Red Wrap Up on Nebraska Public Media, which he will continue to do beyond this. He'll still be able to do this role and that role. So it's exciting to have him aboard, and we'll make sure you guys get to meet him when he's on. And then just another quick reminders of some upcoming council committee meetings. We do have an F&A committee meeting directly or immediately following this council meeting. And then another one on February 1st at 6 p.m. And then audit ad hoc, golf ad hoc, public facilities, and public safety will all be scheduled here in the next month or so. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion by Councilman Gaines. Second by Councilman Klug. Any proponents or opponents? Any council discussion? Please vote.
Sunday.
Yes.
Mumgarde.
Yes.
Gaines.
Yes.
Glover.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Klug.
Yes.
Stubbe.
Yes.
Ingberg.
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Next is item F1, Resolution R220009. A resolution to approve a Federal Aid Transportation Fund purchase sale letter agreement with the state of Nebraska Department of Transportation. Is there a motion to approve Resolution R220009? Motion by Councilman Ingberg. Second by Councilman Sunday. Any proponents or opponents? Any council discussion? Please vote.
Sunday. Mumgarde. Gaines. Glover. Jaworski. Klug. Stubbe. Ingberg. 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Short agenda tonight. That's all the regular agenda items. Public Safety Committee met. Is there a report out from that? Who's the chair? Welcome.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, I am the new chair of this committee. We had one item that we dealt with tonight, and that was the property maintenance code. I thought I turned it on. Okay. Is that what I needed? Phil's down there. Okay. Thank you. We met tonight just for about an hour and 15 minutes as the committee, and we primarily are working with the property maintenance code that we took the vote on last time to send it to committee. To get us started off with, we looked heavily at the first chapter that is in the international code because we want to make sure that it falls in line with how we are doing the Papillion code. The first chapter mostly deals with scopes, some definitions, building inspection departments, and what the roles and duties are. We then decided to look at some of the terms, so we've started to wrestle with that a little bit. No real solutions yet on terms in that, but at least we are thinking about it to be able to move us forward. We did make the decision that we're going to start working this chapter by chapter, so the council members have some homework that we're going to work on for a couple weeks with the goal of meeting again in March to continue making progress on this. Part of it is just to make sure that as we put this into effect as a city government, we are partnering with our citizens to keep the quality of our homes and buildings high quality and moving forward in a way that partners more with our citizens than tries to dictate. So we are making plans on how to move forward to accomplish the goals of keeping Papillion safe and moving forward. And that's the conclusion of my report, sir.
Thank you very much. Any comments from the floor? Any council comments? Just really not much from the last couple of weeks. I think the major thing is we formed a Papillion chapter of the First Responders Foundation. First Responders Foundation is an organization. It was created probably about 9 years ago, primarily out of Omaha with fire and police. A foundation to try to support the first responders. It is a not-for-profit, but then about 3 or 4 years ago, the board had a mission to expand it throughout Nebraska and support first responders in general. And when I say support first responders, they're not just showing appreciation, but they're also doing things like having a mental health therapist on board to help with PTSD issues they might be facing. They got a financial counselor to maybe help with some unique financial aspects that first responders might deal with. They've got events for families and their kids. So thinking of the whole family and what first responders do, they've been bringing a lot of services. Their office is up about 680 in Dodge. That's where their official office is. But they approached us a couple of years ago about starting a Papillion chapter. We'd be the first chapter outside of Omaha. We were a little hesitant in the beginning of doing it. We didn't. How is it not duplicative of maybe what the unions do for themselves and their people? There's the Helmet and Shield Foundation, and so we just wanted to really be careful that it was a value add and not duplicative. So in the meantime, Council Bluffs started a chapter, and we've now started ours. Since it is a not-for-profit, we had to have an official board. Wanted to make sure that it was a board that was balanced between police and fire, but it was also general citizens. And so we ended up with, we just had our first board meeting. I'm going to get these positions wrong, I think. The president is Dr. Rick Black, former school superintendent. We have Tim Burke, the CEO, former CEO of OPPD, who's a Papillion resident, is on there. We've got Kevin Miller, who is the CEO of Midlands Hospital, is on the board. And then Steve Young. So we have wanted somebody from the police world that was really trusted and known. So Steve agreed to do it. And then John Gleisinger, who is a Papillion resident, retired Omaha firefighter, is on it. So that's the board of 5. And initially, it's just going to be a little bit of just recognition, showing support, and raising awareness of what the broader foundation can bring to the Papillion first responders. But the fact that we have a formal 501c3, there are requests once in a while that the chiefs get from a resident of, hey, I had a call to my house and I just want to show us some appreciation and give back. Well, they can't really donate to the city, so there hasn't been a good way to do that. Now that we have a 501c3 specific to Papillion, those people could make donations to the First Responders Foundation. The fact that it formed, we already found out about a grant that's available for canine, and it's just coincidentally we need a canine dog now, so we'll probably see an immediate benefit of the chapter on the canine side. And it's only been in existence a month, and I think it already has a balance of about $20,000 from a couple of folks that wanted to give to the police and fire. Now we have an accountable way to do that with an accountable board. So be hearing more about that as it rolls out. And then we also think that if there are grant opportunities where maybe the city would be the applicant on a grant, we could now partner with our chapter of the first responders. Now we have a public-private partnership, which really should help on grant scoring and other opportunities there. So pretty excited about that. The only other thing, the chamber hosted a legislative coffee. If you're not familiar with those, think about once a month while the legislature is in session, the Sarpy Chamber tries to get all of our senators into one place, and they open it up to the public for the senators to give updates, and it's usually on a Friday at Bellevue University. So if you're not on that distribution list, maybe let Robin know, and we can double check that that's available. I think the only other thing, just a good reminder, didn't mention it when Tori was up here, even though he's retiring from us. Yeah, I don't think you're retiring from teaching, are you? He's been teaching at UNO at the master's level in the journalism for 15 years, 20 years, long time. So even though he's not with us, he's still going to be impacting future journalists, which having good ethical people teaching young journalists is probably a very good thing. So thanks for what you're doing there, Tori. Any other council comments? Ms. Klug.
Thank you. Do
you spurred me on Tori. When he was very new with the city, I also had kids running around and doing a lot with scouts, which several of us on the city council do. And I cannot tell you how many times I showed up at City Hall and it was Tori who would take us into his work area and would show us the microphones and the green screens and the tapes and the reels. And a couple of them, he talked about the differences in vocal qualities and how you work with them. And, some of those kids now are hitting their 30s and 35s. And it's very intriguing to go back and talk to those scouts because there are different people that you see. And I will tell you, the city of Papillion has had a lot of remarkable people. Some of you will remember Art, who did some building work with us. He had an impact. Tori is another one that several of those young men that we were working with will say, do you remember that one guy? And they want to talk about oftentimes the vocal qualities and how he would talk to them about, even when you get nervous, don't let your voice go up, and he would give these fun, really crazy examples to these guys that were anywhere from like 7 to 14. And now that they're in their 30s, they all are still referencing back. It really isn't Tori's job as an employee of the city of Papillion to do that. But what an impact and what a legacy you are leaving, not only on our citizens that are here, but many of them are in DC, in Washington, they are in Oregon, they are working for Boeing and Microsoft, and you've had such an impact. So thank you for that beyond just your job.
Any other council comments? Mr. Ingberg.
Well, since Luann decided to pick on Tory, now I'm not going to pick on him. It just so happens I met Tory before he came to work for the city when he was still a broadcaster, let's say. He probably doesn't remember him, but it was kind of a real serious police situation, and he happened to, even though he did sportscasting a lot, for whatever reason, he was there that night. First time I met him, I thought he was a really good guy, and I made sure he had donuts. But I will tell you that I just wanted to pay Tori a compliment, and to me, it's the best compliment I could pay anybody. And it's this: Tori is one of the best, kindest human beings I've ever met. And that's the best compliment I could give him. And I will tell you tonight, I'm very convinced that Judy's smiling and she's thinking to herself, it's about time.
On that note, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Councilman Glover, second by Councilman Gaines. Please vote.
Sunday, Mumgarde, Gaines, Glover, Jaworski, Klug, Stubbe, Ingberg. 8 yeas, 0 nays.
We are adjourned.